Hey guys, we're back on Show Jesus, and this week we're talking about meditation. We have 3 points again for you guys.
And the first point is setting time, like your quiet time with God, and just getting away from the world.
Okay, so we have a verse for you guys. It's Joshua 1:8. Do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it.
What this verse is talking about is that you should meditate on God's word day and night. And it doesn't mean just reading it. It means really soaking up what he's saying and really, for me, it's like rereading it over and over and over again until it's like embedded in my brain and I understand what it's talking about. I know people who go as far as to research words, as to what the Greek meaning is or whatever they want to research on it. So, that's one way to meditate on it. As far as his word.
Yeah, I just think that a lot of times we forget how important our alone time is with God. A lot of us will have alone time and we'll read our Bible, and that's good, but it's really hard to get something out of it unless you actually take the time to sit there and think about what you read. It's not just reading it, it's meditating on it. And it's just kind of it reminds me of English class in school. You can't just read a passage and then you know everything about it. You have to sit there and think about it and talk about it before you completely understand what it is. And God didn't give us the Bible just so that we would read it and be obedient and read it. He gave it to us because it's faithful instruction, and we need to know what it says and we need to know what it means. And so it's just really important.
Yep, I'll say the same thing. So our second point is that even though you do set this time for God, that should not be the only time you meditate on him or his word or his presence or anything like that. It should be something that you do every day. And the verse for that is
Psalms 19:14, and that says, "May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer."
What this is basically saying is that may everything that we do be pleasing to God. Everything that we think about, that we meditate on, because meditating isn't just sitting there and, it's nothing like that. It's really thinking about something constantly and every day, and you're always thinking about it. And so we don't want to be thinking about something that's just pleasing to God every day. We want to be thinking about something that pleases the Lord or about the Lord, because that means our heart is for the Lord.
Yep. And that kind of brings us right into the third point, which is that we all were born with sin and we have a sinful nature, and just like we talked about a couple weeks ago with 1 John chapter 2, is the ways of the world. It's really, really easy to just fall into the world and just think about things that aren't necessarily even sinful, but it's just not really worth thinking about when like Lana said, we're supposed to be doing everything for the Lord, and all of our ways should be something that pleases him. And it's just so easy to start thinking about things or getting obsessed with oh, what am I wearing, or oh, does this person like me? It's so easy to fall into, and that doesn't stop even when we get older. I'm not an adult, so I guess I wouldn't really know, but I'm gonna guess even when we're in the office, we're going to care about what this person thinks of me, and if I look professional enough. And falling into the ways of the world isn't just in high school, it's throughout your entire life.
Definitely. The thing is that God doesn't expect us to not be sinful. He knows we're sinful, but we can ask for forgiveness, and we can also, when we are thinking about something that isn't right or that we know is going to be displeasing, or maybe just isn't worth our time, we say that we should throw that. We don't pick. Kaylin says, you don't pick it up every morning, or you throw it down. When that's in your thought, you take it and you throw it like it's a piece of paper. Just take that out of your mind. And I read somewhere that sin is such an easy thing for us that a lot of times what happens is, even when you do throw that down, it's going to come back up. It's like a rubber band on your heart, and the elastic, it's going to pull, but it's going to snap right back. But you have to keep throwing it down until that elastic breaks, and then you're no longer thinking of those things.
Yeah. I definitely think that, in my life, I have a really hard time with, forgiving myself when I do something and putting down the sin and, not picking up the guilt every day. And so I literally have to wake up in the morning and have, even if it's just 5 minutes of that time where I'm just God, I'm not going to think about that today. It's not going to be anything that is done. And I have to literally put it down in my brain, and I have to think there are no, I mean, we use the illusion of breaking off the chains all the time as Christians, and that is so awesome, but we have to remember, like, those chains are already broken. It is just our responsibility to shake them off. Like, Jesus broke those chains for us when he died on the cross, and it's just every single day mentally putting them down so that we can get closer to God.
Yeah, definitely. I guess the next thing I would have to say for you guys is that replacing those sinful thoughts with just prayer or song or, I don't know, just thinking about God or anything that you think would be pleasing to him is probably the best way to get rid of that. Is you're constantly replacing it with something good, and eventually those good things will just be flowing out of you. It won't be able to stop it.
My favorite way to get something off my mind is, I mean, we always have, like, a song that's been, like, playing in our lives lately, you know what I mean? Like, even if it doesn't necessarily relate to us, it's just, like, a song that makes us feel better or something, and just, like, finding, like, lyrics from that song or something, and just every single time I start thinking about that thing again that I'm supposed to be laying down, I just start singing that song in my head, and it's just something that's so easy to make those things, like, flow away, like Lana was talking about.
Yeah.
And don't forget to show Jesus everywhere you go.